Hello, Leslie, and of course my name is Leslie Klein. We're on the Crystal Serenity, and we're located currently in the fjords of Olden in troll weather, light rain and clouds and mist. There are trolls ready to leap at you behind every rock. I understand you are doing your 50th video in your life, Leslie, so could you talk a little bit about your filmmaking history, please? Yes, this is my 50th video. The first video was in 1988. It was VHS, taping from one VHS player to another. Leslie, that's pretty boring. Speed it up. Talk faster. Okay, Leslie, I'll speed it up. In 2003, I did my first actual DVD edit on the computer. It was our 24th tout tour to Portugal and Spain. In 2008, I did the first high-definition video in Italy. So Leslie, this is your 50th video. That's a great accomplishment. What filmmaking heights will you achieve? For my 50th video, I'm going to go back to my filmmaking roots. It's going to be simple. No complex editings, no complex, unbelievable story themes, and there will be no pretty movie stars with cameo roles in my video. It's going to be a simple 50th video of my cruise from Copenhagen to Stockholm via Murmansk and along the Norwegian Coast.
Not so fast, Leslie. No pretty female guest stars? I think not. I am Lizio, your great 250th aunt on your father's side. And I need your help. 1,000 years ago, in the summer of 1013 AD, I was abducted by Danish Vikings at age 15 from my small village in southern Sweden. My whole family was killed. I was sold into slavery as a thrall, where I lived a miserable life until I bought my freedom. I then married Lambi, the second son of a Viking chief. He was handsome and strong, and I found some happiness. However, I could never forget what happened to my family, and my soul has not found peace. I roam around terrorizing people in Northern Europe. Your mission, great 250th nephew, is to find my grave and bring back a stone from it to show at your video party. Do not fail, or I will haunt you for the rest of your days.
Here I am in the heart of Copenhagen. Everything I say in this video, by the way, is true, except for the stuff that isn't. Going down the canal.
The hotel is giving a bridge.
A very low bridge. Many bridges. Annual Sandstone Festival here in the water.
Took them all the way over here.
About a quarter mile from the ship. Thus ends the boat tour, going under one more bridge. One takes one's life in one's hand with all these bikes on the bikeway. I better get out or I'll get run over. Judy, do not tip the mimes on the street. An overcast Friday. It's time to board our ship. After passing through the gate, we proceed to check in. Go through security, certify that you are not sick or have not been sick, and then have someone carry your luggage up these plank. Have your picture taken, check in. Then as soon as you get your key card, you can leave.
Okay, my name is Maria, and tomorrow we're gonna do a wonderful bamboo massage, and the bamboo is gonna be warm, and then you're gonna have a wonderful relaxed muscles.
Saturday, 6th July, not a cloud in the sky, as we are walking to the Little Mermaid. This is not the Little Mermaid statue. With 5,600 other fellow tourists, we have arrived at the Little Mermaid. The statue itself is a fake, not the original, which is in a museum and a major tourist stop. Of course, the goal of every photographer is to get a close-up with the Little Mermaid. The lifeboat drill begins at 5:30 p.m. The fort guarding the harbor. Then we gather at the famous muster station, the casino. 16 minutes later, the lifeboat drill is over. The ship is getting ready to set sail, and we're getting ready to go to the bar to have drinks. To the Cove Bar for drinks, and then at 6:30 it's off to dinner. Tonight we do prego. So we are having dinner with our group.
Scallopini, which one? The limone, masala, or parmigiano? Recommendation? Masala.
When I give a toast before the wine is served. But tonight it's, Tom always does things. Look at this table. The round table, which I love, is conversation, and I would like to propose with my scotch, and you all don't have anything, to Mr. Tom. You can't do it to yourself.
Sure you can. Thank you, too.
Days at sea are days of rest and relaxation. Not a whole lot of activity early in the morning. One could watch the wake that the ship makes as it steams along around 18 knots. 8 o'clock always begins with a 20-minute stretch class. Well, it's 8:20. I could do a workout, but it's breakfast time. Where to eat? Most people will eat in the Lido, about half of them. A buffet-style breakfast. Fruits, including papaya and mango, which are excellent. Breads. A chicken sausage, a pork charcuterie sausage, and bacon. And my personal favorite, freshly squeezed orange juice from the machine. Having breakfast is the up-close and personal magician and his girlfriend, Dina. This is the on-deck choice for late breakfast. Use taste, get eggs, pancakes. The third choice for breakfast is the main dining room. The main dining room by far has the widest selection of food choices. This is the giant menu, and some things not on the menu anywhere else are lamb chops, corned beef hash, and grilled kippered herring. And the advantage of the dining room is you can actually get served. I'm starting with rolls, and this is my breakfast. Corned beef hash topped by an egg with a pretty garnish. The final breakfast choice, featuring lox and other cold meat cuts, is the bistro with the best coffee on board the ship.
Highlights of their career. Mr. Lippman is an award-winning author and journalist who specializes in the Middle East affairs and American foreign policy. He did that for 35 years. He's a former Middle East bureau chief of the Washington Post.
Thank you all for being here. You would have thought that coming this far north you might escape from the Middle East, but apparently you're interested enough to be here, and in fact there's no escape. When we get to Tromso, you will encounter the world's northernmost community of Muslims. And you might ask them what they're going to do when Ramadan comes in a couple of weeks and they're required to fast until sunset and the sun never sets.
The day at sea continues. After lunch, it's time to check out the UFO situation.
I've written a book, or several books, and one is called Confessions of an Alien Hunter, a scientist's search for extraterrestrial intelligence,
where I'll talk about UFOs and whether the aliens are actually visiting the Earth and occasionally abducting you for unauthorized experiments.
On a cool but not very cold Monday morning, we arrive at the heart of Fjordland, and then we sail back up the fjord to our next stop, Geiranger. The fjords. By Seven Sisters waterfall. Through security and onto the tender. Then it's a very short tender ride into town. We'll be docking almost in the heart of town. And this town of 200 has lots of tourist shops and scenic Norwegian roofs. After lunch, I am off on an adventure on a Viking longboat aboard this beautiful Viking ship. I am off onto the longboat for a ride. This is a Viking guard camp for Geiranger, and they would station 10 boats here to warn of raiders. The Seven Sisters and a Norwegian car ferry boat as we sail out of the Geiranger Ford towards the ocean 50 miles away. Snacks, on the ship. Tuesday, July 9th, starts with a tough choice at 10 o'clock. Since it's a day at sea on the way to Murmansk as well, do I watch Mark Cummings show us how to make crab cakes at 10 o'clock? And the other choice is the second in the cinema lectures.
Not only her best, but one of the best romantic comedies ever, which was released in 1939. Okay, let's talk about Garbo. Garbo was born in Sweden in 1905 of peasant stock. Was Garbo. Then, 1936, 1937 comes, Garbo is poisoned at the box office. Garbo films are not selling. What to do, what to do, what to do? Well, we got to change what we set up. We got to reshape this image. She never did a comedy. Let's put Garbo in a comedy. I don't know if she could do comedy, but let's put her in a comedy. And they did, and the comedy was what we're going to see this morning, Ninotchka, 1939. They opened it at Radio City Music Hall. It was a smash, the 13th most successful film of 1939.
That globe represents the Arctic Circle, 66 degrees, 30 minutes. And we are now north of the Arctic Circle. Well, it's almost time for Team Trivia, which starts at 12 noon at Sea Day.
Today, and I'll repeat them at the end, so don't worry. The 3 largest islands in the Mediterranean. What are the 3 largest islands in the Mediterranean?
And this is where we're going from Copenhagen to Murmansk. As the musicians start to play, it's time to dive into the 50-item buffet, and this is only 1/10 of the buffet. Shrimp boats, very rare roast beef, desserts, chocolate fruits.
There's really not a whole lot around to see or do. And sexy Murmansk on a swinging Thursday afternoon. 58 monuments to soldiers is a must-see or do. I'm thinking, why in the world did we stop there? The captain's brother must be the mayor.
It's Thursday, 7 a.m., and there is Murmansk. Here you can smell diesel fumes in the air. In the distance, you can see the World War II victory statue. Our bus, it's windy and cold here. You can see where the city of Murmansk was founded on 4 October 1916. It's right where the M exists for Murmansk, I'm sure. There's the 100-foot soldier, the monument to the defense against the Germans. These buildings are called Khrushchevkias because they were given to the people. Khrushchev rebuilt this town immediately after the war. And this is the view from those residences of the Kola River and dock. Even if you could get off the ship without going in a group, there's absolutely nothing to see here at the dock. This is our room stewardess, Elena, who has been pressed into extra duties during the crew lifeboat drill. So, Elena, do you have the Russian visa to allow you to get off the ship?
Well, since I'm from Serbia, and Russia is probably the only country that like us in the world, so we don't have to have it.
Yeah, it's Friday, July 12th, and we're at the northernmost city in the world, North Cape. Well, it's Honningsvåg. It's a town of about 1,500 feet from end to end, and we're at one at the end, and I'm looking at the other. While most of the tourists are heading off to North Cape, a northernmost point in Europe, located about an hour's drive away. We're headed to a more immediate tourist attraction, the local grocery store, the Rimi. We're arriving in the fishing village of Copenhagen, 180 people sometimes. This is our private guide, Jerome. What is the name of this town?
We are in a small village of Kamovar.
Here in Norway, a pound of salmon costs the same as a pound of butter. Now we are going to experience king crab fishing. Actually, they don't sell king crab in this town because it's so common. People just go to a fisherman friend and get all the crab they want. So now we go king crab.
Yeah, when the crab's put into
cut the crab up part a little bit and throw it into boiling water.
Then the little crab also
salt water.
Crab. Honningsvåg is at the moment the biggest place in Europe for king crab fish.
And there's our crab. And that town on the other side of the bay is the northernmost village in the world.
There,
directly in front of us, is the northernmost point of land in Europe, North Cape. And there, now I can see the globe on the top of North Cape. This is likely the scene that Lazile would have seen, minus all the buildings, of course, on her way to her new home in Tromso.
How I love spring weddings. My name is Caitlin. My son Lambie and my new daughter Lazile just got married yesterday. It was a lovely wedding, although Lazile, as a former slave, did not have a doubt. And as following Viking tradition, my husband promptly kicked both of them out of the longhouse, saying he did not wish to feed both of them and any children to follow.
Saturday morning, 13 July, brings us to the second largest city north of the Arctic, Tromso. This is Tromso, not destroyed during the Second World War.
Main Street, the big street, Storgata in Norwegian. So this is where life happens in town, obviously.
So in the morning we take a tour out to visit with huskies. We're now in the middle of 300 dogs, but if you walk in the middle, they can't quite reach you. Unlimited petting of dogs, and there's all different types. So the dogs want attention, they'll let you know.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us here for the Liars Club. Very quickly, let me explain how this works. What you're going to have to do is figure out which one is actually telling the truth.
All right, what is this word? Omphalascepsis, right? Omphalascepsis. We all can say that, right? This would be the dark cavernous area known as your belly button.
This is a word, and what this word is, if you believe in reincarnation, this is the belief that you have come back to this life from a previous life when you were an animal.
I didn't know whether to be insulted or flattered by being in the Liars Club, this vortex of mendacity. This is a word that you can understand simply by looking at it. Omphalascepsis, right? Visual system here, skepsis, you're skeptic, right? This is simply the disbelief in something you've seen. It's too wondrous to be true. So I'll give you a sample sentence, not a very good one, of when you might use this. The first time Rodney saw that oversized example of soil erosion known as the Grand Canyon, his omphalascepsis was palpable.
My role is to make sure that you are not deceived by these guys who are going to ply you with mountains of baloney, and they're going to use words like prestidigitation, and dog, and other words that you've never heard. But what I'm going to do, and as you know, I have an impeccable reputation for credibility and seriousness. And so what I'm going to do is reach back into history and classical education and literature to really set you straight after you've heard all the nonsense coming from these guys who think they're great comedians, okay? To the Temple of Apollo at Delphi, which the Greek religion taught was the center of the universe. And if you didn't believe that, that is to say, if you were a skeptic about it, you were guilty of the crime of omphalascepsis.
Sunday, 14 July, begins with a rainbow right in front of us as I come out of my cabin. I am looking at the craggy cliffs of the Lofoten Islands.
Lofoten.
The pilot boat departing our ship means we are approaching the anchorage point. So we head ashore, and as in all ports, even a teeny one like this, there are availability of shore excursions as soon as you get off the pier. These purple flowers that we've seen from Murmansk to here are fireweeds.
Yes.
Now we go to the longhouse where as many as 90 people would have lived.
And then
This is the dining area.
animals were sacrificed and big feasts were given here. Here is the most important feature of this room. It's the high seat where the chieftain...
At the royal throne. And
Yes.
This is the weapon of choice, a good iron axe. This will take out 5 or 6 people with a swing, and what that won't get, the sword. Super sharp, made out of the finest steel. This is the type of glasses that Vikings used, no base. You drink from it, then you set it down like that when you were done with it. Also, it precludes poisoning. No one could casually walk by and put something in the glass. This is a Viking bed, not for 2, but for 7. How often did the Vikings bathe?
Only once a week. And they had a bucket with water, and they would wash themselves with water and soap as well.
Was it cold water or warm water?
I think it was warm water.
Hi, my name is Freya, my mother is Lazial, and my father is Landon. My farming job is to tend the grapes and the goats.
Freya, are you happy on this farm?
No!
And up here on the side of a mountain, overlooking the harbor, is where Lazial's grave is. I secured a rock from there. And this is the view that her gravesite has. And our time in the Lofoten Islands comes to an end. It's Monday. There goes the pilot boat on this very rainy 50-degree morning. Alex Sunday appears to be built on canals. So what are your dining choices for dinner? Well, there's snacks served at all the music venues. Heavier snacks at the bistro, cold meats, pastries, fruits. When dinner time finally arrives, there's the main dining room in 2 seatings at 6 and 8:30. There are 2 specialty restaurants, the Silk Road, which is Japanese, and Prego, which is Italian. These restaurants do not cost anything extra, but do require reservations, which can be hard to get from time to time.
Surprised it was so
Tonight
calm.
we're having dinner with a movie star and her daughter. So how is it to be the daughter of a famous movie star?
Oh, you know, it's not that different. I mean, she's my mom, so I look at her as more of a mom than a movie star.
Tuesday morning is a troll day. No wind, misty, rainy, cool. We are approaching the town of Olden. There in the distance is the glacier we will be visiting. Very hard to see from here. Well, that's the route we're going to take up to the Bergstad Glacier, the largest in Norway and maybe Europe. And there's how one could come if one wanted to ride up. And at the top of the waterfall, at last, the Blue Glacier. And it does have a blue tip to it. After certainly more than 45 minutes on a very steep walk, we arrive at the end of the trail.
This is the Bergstad Glacier you see in the back here. It's the part of the Ysterals Glacier, which is the biggest glacier on the European mainland.
Olden, saying goodbye to it. Wednesday, 17 July, Bergen. Before getting off the ship, one always needs to find out where we are, in this case Bergen, and more important, what time do we have to be back on board so that we don't have to fly to the very next port, in this case Stockholm. On the wooden sidewalks at the old port of Bergen, with all types of interesting buildings and sculpture. This is Boris and Sherry. Are you guys ready for your premiere show?
Yeah. A little bit nervous, but yeah, let's have some fun.
Great.
Working for the man every night and day. We'll keep on turning, round or keep on turning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Say we're rolling on the river. I tell you we're rolling, rolling, rolling on the river.
Boris Nabokov and Sherry Burrows.
The first morning activity is meditation with Dina Michelle.
Salt, garlic powder, pepper, and the other side. Remember, your food when you buy it at the store does not come seasoned. You must season both sides of your product.
So what is that, Janice?
It is a secret.
It is a secret.
So you have a very popular cholesterol-lowering drug called Crestor, which many people probably are even taking here. And if you read the package insert, it will say, this drug has never been shown to actually lower heart disease.
So, with the sun setting as we are approaching Stockholm and all these pretty islands, I think it's time to bring our 15-day cruise to an end. So we don't get off the ship till tomorrow.
Thank you, Leslie.